Hi, Alicia. I am so happy to see you. So excited to talk to you.
Hello, Theola. It has been such a long time, and I'm so glad that we get this opportunity to kind of chat and catch up today.
Yes, yes. So excited to hear about your journey. Okay.
Yay!
So tell us your full name and what you do right now.
Full name is Alicia Hughes, and I am currently a content specialist for a website called Gaming Today. Gaming Today is a website that is owned by a company called Katina Media, which is a company that is focused on sports betting through affiliate marketing. And what that means is basically the company has partnerships with different sports books like DraftKings, FanDuel, and what we try to do is create content and drive users to our website so that they can sign up for one of those sports books through our affiliate link, and then we obviously get the profits from that. So that is the quick and dirty of the affiliate of what my company is focused on.
Okay. So I'm going to do a quick breakdown recap of that.
Mm.
So you work at Gaming Today and you are creating content, which means writing stories mostly.
Most actually, I don't write that much. I'm mostly focused on what I do is I update the various what they call like we have different pages for each state that has sports betting.
Okay.
Ohio, Kentucky, Maryland, and such. So I am assigned various different state pages that I am in charge of kind of updating and obviously making sure that the content is fresh, that if there's any new news. So because obviously you want to have fresh content to keep those pages ranking well from an SEO standpoint, so that
Okay.
if somebody Googles Ohio sports betting, we want our page to be obviously, in hopefully that top three, top five, like on that first page of Google, so that people be like, oh, Ohio sports betting, I'm going to click on this site. They click on the site, they see the wonderful page that I have updated with fresh news and fresh content. Like, oh, DraftKings is having this special promo. I'm going to go ahead and sign up for it while I'm here. So that's kind of what I do. There has been some writing that I do, but I'm mostly focused on, like I said, on that side of it.
Yeah. Editing, really,
Yeah,
right?
editing. Yeah,
Editing, curating.
editing,
Yeah.
seeking out, obviously finding news, staying on top of the news in the different states and everything. So that is largely what I do right now.
Yeah, I love that. That's so interesting because when you think about these companies like DraftKings, Bet and MGM, we've seen the commercials and I'll say, okay, that's a nice commercial, and then you move on. But something like your page or your website is another way to grab people to then join DraftKings or join MGM, and you may not even know it, right? It's not as obvious as a commercial, but it's another channel to basically get customers to buy, essentially. Because I guess that's the difference. You're really creating, updating, curating content so that people end up making a purchase. Is that right?
Exactly. That's what it comes out. I said it's specific. Obviously, we want to get obviously customers in those states, like I said, that have legal sports betting coming to our pages, knowing that they can come to our page and that we can be a source of updated news in
Yeah.
that space, and so keep them coming back and keep them signing up through through the deals that way.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Now, what did you do in journalism?
Basically, I was a sports writer for about 25 years, which that always scares me saying that out loud because I was like, that's a quarter century. That's a long time. But yeah, I said I was, started off as kind of a general assignment sports reporter. I've worked for various newspapers, including the Lexington Herald Leader, which is based here in Kentucky, where I live. I primarily focused basically the last 15-20 years of that on covering horse racing, so I worked for some trade outlets there as well, but yeah, I was basically a sports writer for 25 years.
Wow. So obviously eminently qualified to now do what you're doing.
I guess so.
Eminent.
Now, yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
because you got the job. You got the job,
Yes.
which is what we're going to talk about. Okay.
Yes.
So something led you to seek me out. And I wonder if you could talk about that that journey to look for something. And then what was your biggest reservation before you decided to work with me?
the journey that led me to look to you, and first of all, shout out to you and your website and your SEO, because when I was Googling how to transition out of journalism, there you were, right at the top of the page. So well done.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
so well done there. You know, as I said, you know, I've been a sports reporter for a long time, working primarily covering horse racing for a long time. And it got to the point where I was basically I had gone from one toxic situation to another with the different companies I was working for. And I just sort of decided, for my own mental health, my own well-being, I kind of needed to step away. I need to look and see, I needed to see if there was a chance for me to do something different, because as much as I loved horse racing, there was a lot of issues, and especially the people involved who I was working for, I was like, if I want to continue to love this, I think I have to step away from it for a while. It's like, I love you, but I don't like you very much at the moment.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And so I just kind of started Googling, started looking, exploring what other options might be out there. And probably the biggest reservation I had nothing to do with you. It had to do with myself, of thinking, well, I've backed myself into this hyper niche corner of, you know, only being a sports writer and then being hyper focused on covering this very niche sport. And I was, you know, I'd started sending out some resumes, and, you know, when you've been in a certain space for so long and you try to branch out and you're not getting responses, you're like, have I just kind of buried myself where I'm never going to be qualified to do anything else? And that was my biggest fear, is I've backed myself into a corner and I'm never going to be qualified to do anything else. And nobody's going to look at my resume for outside of this industry and see my potential of what I can bring to their company. So that was the biggest struggle that I had, and reservation that I had, was, you know, is this even worth this? You know, is this just going to be another waste of time? Because you've just, like I said, I had just felt like I'd backed myself into a corner, and that nobody else was going to want me.
Yeah. Yeah. But then something, even though you were in that corner, did you think that I wouldn't be able to figure something out? Or just like, how did you still get over that, right? Like, you somehow got over that, or at least told it to go sit in the corner while you tried to work with me.
And try is the key word there. I felt like I was like, okay, you have to at least continue to try. Like, you have to continue to try to exhaust all options, because my current situation was getting no better. In fact, it was continuing to slide downhill. And so it's like, you know, it's kind of like, what's the alternative? Do you sit and stay in a bad situation and do nothing? Or do you keep trying to work the problem, so to speak? I always laugh. One of my favorite movies is that movie, The Martian. And there's a scene at the end of it where he talks about telling the students is, you keep working the problem. You solve one problem and you solve the next problem, then you solve the next problem. And so it's kind of like, let me just keep working a problem to see if there's a way to fix this, so to speak. And so I was like, okay, you have to at least try, give this a chance. This is, you know, transitioning out of journalism. This is exactly what you're looking to do. This is a class that's specifically going to address that. If I don't try it, then I'm not, like I said, then I'm not putting my best effort forward. So I was like, if I tried, it doesn't work out, well, at least you tried, and then maybe you'll gain something from it. But I was like, if you don't try, you're almost just kind of giving up right there.
Okay. And what would you say are the tangible results you've gotten from us working together so far?
I have to say, I think the most tangible result I've got, I mean, obviously I've got another job, you know, working for a company that I have to say is the best work environment I've been in years. Everybody is super supportive and positive. And I can't say enough for working in a positive environment with good people and how much that can transform you.
Working in a positive environment with good people and how much that can transform you. I just want to put a little, you know, I want to star that before you go on.
Yeah, I mean, it's, I said, it sounds simple, but it's huge, and it's sadly increasingly rare, you know, in it going out there and everything. But I do think, honestly, the biggest thing that I took from your class was just the confidence and the belief that I could do something else, and that almost like I hadn't wasted myself for 2 decades. I think, when I started this new job, obviously, anytime you're going to a new job, a new space, and a new career, you're nervous. I was like, I'm not going to know what I'm doing. I don't know anything about sports betting. Am I just going to crash and burn, this and the other? And I started doing things that I thought, kind of came naturally to me as a reporter of, being able to find news, filter out what is the most important things, and put on the website, updating things quickly. And that was one of the key things you drove home for us, was your skills as reporters, as journalists. You guys don't even know how valuable you are. You don't know what you bring to the table. The skills that you use in that space, when you get out into other industries, they are like, we have such special skill sets. And I remember one of the first reviews that I had with my supervisor, she said, "We continue to be blown away by your speed and your accuracy." And I kind of laughed to myself, and I thought, that's exactly what I'm built for.
Yes.
That's what we do as reporters, speed and accuracy.
Yes.
And so they've that's kind of they've really been pleased with my work, and they've given me more and more responsibility, because they're like, wow, how do you find news? Wow, how do you track this news? Wow, how did you find out about this commission meeting going on? And to me, it's almost like second nature. Because again, this is what we're hardwired to do and everything. So I think it's that confidence of, look, our skill sets are valuable elsewhere. What we do, we operate at a certain level, and we're hardwired for certain things that will blow people away in other industries. And so I said, I think that is the most important thing that I've taken from it, is the confidence of, yeah, your skills do translate, and they can translate, and they can be appreciated in this other area where they, maybe we're not being as appreciated, even though that was my space beforehand. But here it's seen as so valuable and so special. And they're like, wow, you're great. And I was like, I am? I haven't heard that in a while.
Haven't heard that in 25 years.
Yeah.
Oh, and what I love about what you just said, Alicia, speed and accuracy. I never did sports, but I know in sports, speed and accuracy are very important, because you've got, games going on, you've got results, games end late, you got to get stuff in. I understand that. And so the fact that you recognized for yourself, if there's one thing that I want to keep from this other career, it's the speed and accuracy. I actually kind of like that. I am good at it. I wouldn't mind doing that. And so you found a new role where they can appreciate that, right? Where they actually are like, oh, this is great. We're so glad that you bring this to the table. And I know that you probably looked at a bunch of other roles, probably other stuff that maybe you didn't even get hired for, but I'm guessing some of that, or even if they offered it to you, you're like, I'm not sure, because you were very clear about matching your values to your new thing. And so you can say, oh, I have these values, I have these skills, I want to keep doing them. And here they are appreciated.
Yeah, it's been a very wonderful and different experience to be so valued, and it's been, and be so appreciated for that. But yeah, like I said, it's just, there's certain things that I said, if you're a journalist, you're just kind of hardwired to do. Like, if somebody gives you an assignment, you do it. You just knock it out right there. So I will get, like, my supervisor will send me an assignment. It's like, oh, can you update this page, and can you have it done by like the end of the week? And I'll look at the assignment. I'm like, I can have this done in an hour. Like, and they're like, wow, thanks for knocking that out. That's great.
Yes. Yeah. So you are valued, which is a tangible result as well. I didn't do it, but you found a place where now you're valued, but that the confidence that you got from our work together allowed you to open this door of value and appreciation, which is priceless.
Yes.
And I know that folks are probably curious about this. I'm not going to ask you for exact numbers, but would you say that your job now is an increase, decrease, or the same compared to your pay in journalism?
It was, when I took this position, it represented a slight decrease from the previous job that I held. The salary was a decrease. Having said that, The benefits are wonderful. They cover, 100% of premiums for full-time employees. They
Mhm.
also, we have discretionary bonuses that they will give if we hit different quarterly marks. They
Mhm.
also give us things like we get a $750 wellness credit every
Mhm.
year to use for anything wellness related, gym equipment, gym membership, massages, therapy. They're pretty jet like so anything wellness related you can
Wow.
use that for. So the first thing I did was I bought a spin bike. So
Perfect.
yeah. So the salary was slightly less than where I had been before, but
Mhm.
with the bonuses and everything else, I was like, it was going to be close, but also the salary may have been less. The quality of life is night and day for the better.
Wow.
It's, I can't even articulate, how bad the place was that I left and how much of a turnaround this has been. And it's just, like I said, our company is fully remote. The entire North American team is remote. Our CEO has basically said, I don't care where you guys work. I don't care if you're on the moon. If you got Wi-Fi and you're available and you get your assignments done, I don't care where you guys work out of. And that kind of flexibility, is wonderful. But they even do things like, because we are remote, they will do things like we have a virtual book club, in my group and everything, just so that we can still kind of interact that way, get to know each other in that sense and things like that. So have little kind of like, they'll even do like monthly, like what they call like coffee chats, where they'll just kind of assign you to a random group of people in the company and you guys just spend an hour just talking, getting to know each other, things like that. So
Yeah.
I said, so while it's a slight decrease, and I'd probably say the money is still, pretty good. It was the slight decrease, but more than makes up for it in the quality of life, tenfold and beyond.
Yeah, yeah. I love that. Thank you for answering that question. Because what's also important is to not have a singular definition of success for this transition. Oh, I have to match my salary exactly. Oh, I can't take something lower. Oh, I can't do this, right? And then you might miss these wonderful opportunities that obviously allow you to, live physically, because that's important, but then to also expand your horizons elsewhere. So thank you. Thank you for that. Um, would you recommend me to a friend and why as a coach?
Absolutely. In fact, sadly, we've seen so many, newspapers and different publications continue to have layoffs.
Mhm.
And sadly, I still know friends who are impacted by that and going through that. And, I've told more than one person, hey, if you're looking to transition, if you're looking for a way out, I got somebody for you. I got somebody who you should talk to. I just think you know, it was just such a valuable experience. Like I said, just from the knowledge, from the confidence standpoint, and also things, the way you were able to help us center like what our why was. I remember there was the exercise we did where you talked about, okay, what is it the job you want? And then you keep answering why. Why do you want to do this? Why do you want to do this? Why do you want to do this? And when you got down to your final one, that's your core answer. That's kind of like your purpose. And even if you don't necessarily put that sentence on a piece of paper or on a resume, I feel like centering that why for yourself and knowing this is what I want to do, this is the purpose I want to have, just kind of helps, ground you a little bit, or even just helps you and even just helps motivate you still to kind of keep going, in this work and everything. So, even like I said, going over the resumes and how to highlight it and make it less kind of, hyper focused on journalism and more broad, things like that. I think it's definitely an invaluable experience.
Thank you. Thank you. And what would you tell someone who was on the fence about working with me? I don't know. It sounds good, but I'm not sure.
I would definitely I said, first of all, I would tell them, yes, try it. Like this, the short answer is take a chance on you, take a chance on themselves. Most of all, I feel like that's I feel like that's the main thing that we're doing is we're kind of, taking a chance on ourselves and having to, and trusting this to be part of our journey, and which also means sticking with the journey, and not kind of giving up on ourselves, not just because it's hard. I mean, I think everybody in the group, we all talked about how many resumes, like I lost count of the amount of resumes that I sent out that and 95% of the time wouldn't even get a response, like not even a no, but just wouldn't even, and things that I even on paper thought I was like, oh yeah, I've got a puncher's chance at this, couldn't, no, didn't. And so when you're going through that, it's hard. When you're constantly getting rejected, when you're constantly trying to better yourself and nobody will give you a chance, it is hard. We have been there, we get it, it's brutal, but sometimes the only way out is through. And you just got to keep, and so you got to, for your, do it for yourselves more than anything. Don't quit on yourselves, because I said, what's the alternative? Staying there, staying someplace you're not happy, being undervalued, being underpaid, having it all impact, your mental well-being, your physical well-being, your family, and not giving yourself the chance to be your full self, not just from a career perspective, but just from a human perspective, being your full kind of, happier self. That's a huge part of it too, and
Yes.
so I feel like I would tell everyone, take a chance, gamble on yourself, trust in yourself, and make this part of your journey.
Yes, yes, thank you. I agree with that 1,000%. I like to say and believe that all I do is represent an opportunity for people to take a chance on themselves. And I say, even if you don't work with me, do something,
Right.
because the goal is to really work with yourself, take a chance on yourself. And to that end, there are people who might say, well, I don't know how much this costs, or, what about the money? Like, what would you say to that?
I mean, first of all, I mean, obviously everybody's situation is different financially. So I'm not going to sit there and tell somebody, like I say, I don't know what anybody's situation is, and tell
Right.
somebody you have to do this and the other. Having said that, if you do have the privilege of having the means and the time to do it, I think it is an absolute worthy investment. I think it is, it's not, in my opinion, I didn't think it was, I didn't think it was an overly extravagant cost for what you were getting. Because I know that there are some other similar things out there that can have been far more, they require far more of a financial commitment, and that's hard, especially if you think about if somebody's in the process of trying to look for a new job, there may be some inherent financial constraints that come with it. So there are some other entities doing similar things that maybe kind of price themselves out in that respect. But so like I said, I would just say, like I said, if somebody has the privilege and the means to be able to to make this investment, I don't think they will be sorry for it. And I think, I kind of told myself, it's like, well, think about how much money you spent at White House Black Market this year. And,
Right.
well, DSW's had a sale going on, and the heels you were looking at are kind of real cute, and every, so
Yes.
and nothing wrong with that, because those heels,
Nothing wrong with that.
and everything. But yeah, I said, if you're in that kind of position and you're just like, okay, well, I'm spending money here, I'm spending money there, things like that. Spend money on like this. Again, you're spending money on yourself because you want this, you want that. This is part of yourself. The same way you would spend money, like I said, on a gym membership or gym equipment or anything to keep yourself, physically in shape. This is part of keeping yourself mentally in shape, I would say.
Yes, yes, absolutely. What I have to ask this, right, as a last question. What haven't I asked you, or what would you want to say in closing?
I mean, I think that, I said we've, as usual, done a fabulous job of covering, the topics. I would just try to, I said, again, just reiterate to anybody who's out there who's going through the struggle, who's going through the process, it's not, it may not happen overnight. It may not, and when you do get, a new position, it may not even look like the one that you thought that you sort of wanted. Like I said, I think, when I was in your course at the time, I was very focused on getting into like the DEI space, diversity and inclusion. And that's still obviously a very, personal thing for me and something that's very important for me. But realistic, like I said, it sort of just wasn't happening in that space. And I still, and so while I was not able to kind of get a direct job in that space, the new position that I do have, because I do have this flexibility now, I can still, I said, I can still freelance. I can still, write for other different publications. And because I have the flexibility, I can still, maybe do some advocacy work. That is actually, that's another benefit we have is they give us like certain amount of volunteer days a year. They encourage us to get out in the community and contribute. So it's like, if I wanted to do some advocacy work or volunteer for a different organization for something that is a passion for me, it's like, I may not have been able to get a direct job in that space, but I have the job I have now gives me the flexibility and, to still be able to kind of pursue that,
Yes.
way. And it's like, make some meaningful changes, on that front. So it may not look the way you think it's going to look. It may zig and you want it to zag, but don't give up on it. Don't quit on it. Don't give up on yourself and believe that our skills are valuable. We bring, like I said, we bring so much to the table that, you don't even realize until you get kind of outside of that space. And then you realize skills that you thought were just kind of muscle memory to you are considered invaluable in other spaces. And so it's just about finding the space where you can be valued, because you will be valued elsewhere.
Yes. And the first thing that you learn how to do is to value yourself.
Yes.
Right? And I
Yes.
think that's that confidence piece that you took away. So first you value yourself and learn how to do that. And then you find a place where they will value you. And you've done that. And I'm so proud of you, Alicia. I'm so happy for you. And I remember us talking about DEI, and I love what you said, because you still have that passion. And this new job, it sounds like, is the first step towards that passion. It's not going to go away. So now
Right.
now you just have some more space to then explore that. So
Right.
just being flexible about what that next step looks like. I love that. I do.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time today. And I look forward to talking with you again very soon. Please keep in touch. And
Definitely.
thank you for inspiring all of us so that we remember that our journalism skills are transferable and that you can land in a new career.
Thank you for, again, thank you for all of your help. Thank you for believing in all of us, even when we didn't believe in ourselves. The fact that you were out there being like, no, you guys can do this. You guys, like, trust me, listen to me. I know it's hard to hear right now, and you're not getting, you're sending out these resumes, but trust is just like, trust the process, work the problem. Stay with me here. Just stay with me.
Trust the process, work the problem. Beautiful. Yeah. Thank you, Alicia.
Thank you.
All right. Take care. Have a
Thank
wonderful, wonderful day.
You as well. Good to see you again.
All right. You too. Bye.
Bye.